What's going on, guys? This video is going to be a little bit different. So we went off to Catfish ATV Trails and Park in Martinsville, Virginia, and took off to explore some of the mountain trails at this ATV park. A little bit different than Busco. As you can see, it goes down. It got some hills and all. Got a little bit of washouts. Got there on a Good Friday, and really wasn't nobody out there on Friday, and had a good time. I had some audio issues, that's why there's no sound in this video. I do apologize about that. It's a little bit weird for me to edit this and all, but I really just couldn't pass this video up because I had such a great time at this park. And I mean, as you can see, it looks friendly and all. I mean, it looks somewhat steep and stuff. The camera doesn't really pick that up too well, but it's manageable. Main trails, super fun to drive down. Anybody can drive down them on the main trails. There are some side trails that have some mud and steeple climbs, more extreme trails, if you will. But yeah, it's just such a peaceful ride. Come out here, go down the little trail though, and you can come up to this little creek. Kind of nice little stream, actually. Not really a creek, but a stream. There's all different kinds of side trails you can go around. Any obstacle there is, you can pretty much go around it. I'm just going to carry on down the main trail for right now. Very beautiful coming out here. It was just so nice. I mean, everything was just perfect out here. I mean, driving kind of like a big rut, I don't know what you would call it, like an opening, just made it that much more enjoyable. Here I came up to a mud thing, no mud puddle, like, oh, this ain't gonna be so bad. And testing it out, I have some people behind me. Not bad at all until you get into it and you start leaning. But it was nothing, able to shake out of it and kind of get through it. Slowly but surely. Of course, with me doing that, I have my boots on and they fill up with water. I quickly changed over the flip-flops, but carry on down the main trail. It's not bad. It's more like a scenery thing. Very nice, a little rocky. There's some ruts and all, and we're gonna see more of that later on in the video. It does come up to some openings, and kind of have a little bit of fun out here if you want. Do some donuts, whatnot. Just don't tell the main trail, too bad. A bunch of spider webs. It seemed like I kept catching spider webs in the face constantly. So coming down here, got a little steep at some angles here. Of course, there's better ways of going through this. I just picked the hardest way possible, most dangerous way. They just bulldozed the main trail recently when we got there. I think it was just a few days or weeks ago when they just did it. So everything was kind of cleared up and nicely maintained for us. It's a little hard to see where the main trail goes by the signs, but as long as you just stop and you just kind of look for a minute, I mean, it's kind of simple where to go. I mean, first time being there, it gets confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's like, oh, okay. And of course, there's two ways you can enter. So it's like a big circle, a big loop, if you will. So out here we actually come up to that stream, and you can either drive through it or you can drive up on that little platform there. Just watch out for the rebar. carrying on. We're following a path. I don't know if this is the path to the main trail or the Playpen. Did you make cuts? But as you can see, there's rocks out here and all, and it's manageable for all vehicles. I really wanted to drive up that, but maybe next time I'll consider it. The tires are running, the BAKTs or BTKs, I can't remember what they're called, top of my head. They do great. However, in the mud, or they do great in the mud, but in the clay, wet clay, they just slide. There's no way it's getting traction. So up here, we actually get to see some of this, where we can drive into the creek. We can drive down the stream. It's not that deep. Some spots can be a little hole in there where a boulder was, but other than that, it's actually a nice little drive through here. I was taking it very slow because I'd never been down here, and it's like I'm not sure if it ever gets deep or not, so I'm trying to like learn it. But as I said, I have some people behind me and watch them come through. Since they don't have a snorkel, I'm taking it real slow. I mean, it could drop off. I mean, my experience at Busco, everything drops off. That cut there was I got out and kind of walked into the water to make sure. And it got a little deep at one spot, but you just take the little path I took right there, it ain't bad at all. Kind of directing them to get away from that hole. They got it. I truly do apologize. I'm not really great with commentary, and having no audio, it really ruined the video for me. However, the video itself speaks so much. I mean, what do they say? A picture speaks 1,000 words. It's a beautiful area, beautiful trails. And speaking of trails, we run into more people. Got Can-Am and a Honda. We decided we're gonna follow them. Let them take the lead. So around that bit, it got a little bit too deep for the stock Honda, I guess they were saying. I think it was 2-wheel drive only. So we all kind of just turned around and came up the road, and now we'll continue on to the Playpen. So we get up here to the power lines and we just take on the view. I mean, look at the view. It's beautiful. And then we see the trails. And we're like, we should go down there and check it out. But the GoPro does not give this justice. This is very steep. If you're not I'm not gonna say a good driver, but like a experienced driver, I wouldn't attempt the power lines. So this is pretty steep, and there are some big ruts coming up ahead. And mind you, I'm on 30s with a 2.5 inch lift, and my shock's kind of extended out too. Same thing with the Polaris behind me. He was on a 2-inch lift, I believe. Definitely gotta keep it kind of slow throughout here. Don't want to be flying through here. Let me just... He handles it like a pro. Just making sure they still want to carry on. And we do. We keep on going. We're committed. Right here, wasn't sure about this rut here, this hole. And it tilts a little bit. But we're mostly just kind of exploring like the main trails on this video. And of course, had to see the playpen. So this got pretty steep here, and it slid down a lot. That gave you multiple choices to come through. And I'm like, let's take the right. It looks like it drops off pretty, and I want to see this rock. So that's what I do. So I get over that rock. No problem. But the Polaris does bottom out on the rock in the middle, but they're able to scoot off of it, as we see here. It drops down and they bottom out right about there. It's a good bike though. Carry on climbing. But speaking about that bike, we did have an issue with the Polaris while we were there. Some bolts came off and got lost somewhere, and for a breathing pump. So the staff at the park were actually trying to do their best to try and help us get some bolts and whatnot. I mean, they were more than willing to kind of show us around. They were happy to try and help us as much as they could. Like customer service and all, I love this park. The people are just so kind. The park is fun to drive down. It's a whole new experience, different from Busco, just mud. But look how steep this gets. Wow. That's like the second or third drop. The power lines. And of course, I'm the daredevil to go first. These ruts got pretty deep here, and definitely put some angles on me. As you will see about here, definitely put a big angle on me, and I lost my flip-flop. Had to get my flip-flop back on. My flippy went floppy. But I continued on, try to get out of the rut a little bit, kind of just ride it down. Of course, there's a path on the right. I was debating about taking it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna carry on. So it comes to like another little stream or ditch or something. And then you go back up. Not as high though. There's a lot of leaning to be done for these trails. Look how far that goes. He decided he was going to take the trail on the right. Then we decided we're not going to go back up that way. We're going to try and see if we can find another way up. And here I found one way through the woods. And I hate to say it, kind of made my own trail to come back up, but I was just trying to find something. I was following the one trail that kind of turned into me knocking some little shrubs down. Just gonna drive over it and we carry on, following the main trail at the Playpen. We were thinking it would turn back around and go back to the main trail. And it probably does somewhere, I'm not too sure. But we were going to find out. So we do come to more steep trails, but it's not as bad as what we just went through with the power lines. Come up to a fence and stuff, and up against the fence is some mud, water. Not bad at all. Then we come to this big area here. You got like some mud on the left, water on the right. And somehow, some way, shape, or form, I was able to straddle some ruts here. I have no idea how deep this actually is because I was straddling some ruts. But it did get deep enough that it covered my feet. As I went this way, the Polaris went to the left, more into the mud. But man, that water was a little cold and was covering my feet, and I was actually enjoying it. So I was wondering why he was sitting still back there. He got stuck. Not a big deal, we hooked the winch up. And he was able to drive out from there. Of course, throwing mud everywhere. So we carry on down this main Playpen bit here, and still hoping to find a way out without turning around. So I came up onto this one spot that is kind of sketchy. It goes down pretty steeply and it turns to the right. But I'm like, you know what? It can be done. It looked like it was just bad right here. Kind of leaned a bit, had to push myself off with my foot. Off that wall, but we were good. We were good to go. And I kept it going. It's like, oh, this ain't too bad. Making sure the Polaris is still gonna be able to come down here with me. Unfortunately, right here where he touched that wall, he lost his hubcap and actually broke it. We were still able to use it. We recovered it and all, but just keep that in mind. You can kind of see that back tire back there. It just doesn't have a hubcap now. So I get down here and I'm starting to say, oh, what the heck did I just get us into? You know, I'm starting to see a little bit more of an angle again. It's like, is this whole trail going to be this way? And so when I edge further and get around this corner here, we come to a big problem. Look how deep that rut is. And that Polaris will not be able to do that. So we're saying the only way for him to get past here is for me to move my bike forward, and we have to go left. Because that rut there is just way too deep. My tires actually slide into it. So to be safe, we actually hooked the winches up as a stabilizer, because this is actually very steep, as you can tell here. So try to stabilize the full wheel, hit the gas a little bit, and Ease it up though, piece by piece. Whole new winch point, tree to tree, get it up though, and then it's my turn. I backed up and got in the same position. I had to follow the winch point. It was actually the first time I got to use my synthetic rope. And of course I'm getting help here from that nice lady, and trying to keep the four-wheeler from flipping, or mostly for what we can, and we get it up there. We get all the way to the bottom. I don't have it on the video here, but it's pretty much a dead end, so we had to turn around and come back up it, but there was another way to come up than that steep struggle that we had. So here we're actually going back and we leaving the playpen, if you will. And we come out to the other way. So hopefully I'll get another video out here or have an audio, and we're going to see how it turns out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.